Well, welcome back to the latest episode of COVIDeos. This week we watched Encanto. And so, I'm Nick,
Lance.
and we have special guest.
Amber.
Oh, look at that.
I do exist. I'm not just a disembodied voice.
Peanut Gallery.
Yes, the occasional voice from the Peanut Gallery has watched the movie and I guess liked it enough to come want to talk about it. Or were you bullied into talking about it?
I'm not at liberty to say.
I bullied her.
So, COVIDeos is a series in which, let's say you are stuck inside for an extended period of time because there's something awful going on in the world out in the greater world, and you can't just like go to a theater and see a movie.
Fake
Well,
news.
I know. What would you do? Well, how about go on to a streaming service and check out some of the later releases? So I guess technically we're like 2 weeks late for Encanto because New Year's.
Yeah, well, that's kind of our shtick, so...
Late to the party. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. All that matters is when you decide you want to see it and you decide like I want to Encanto. I wonder if that's any good.
Let's be fair. There are a lot of people who are very hesitant about delving into Disney movies, and especially if they don't have children. You know that they're like, oh, they're just for kids, or Disney's Satan. Whichever path you want to take.
Either or, like Disney's too evil or too nice.
Yeah.
I personally don't see the problem. I've gone and seen quite a few Pixar movies in the theater by myself, and
There's a reason for that.
Now that y'all say it that way, I know I was getting a lot of dirty looks from parents while I was there.
The one old dude.
Enjoy your movie. I'm just shopping. But no, it just I've always loved cartoons. It's my thing. It's my bag, baby.
Well, I've like Disney since I was like a kid. Like the movie that always stuck out to me the most was Little Mermaid. So I still revisit that one on time, which makes me like musicals kind of, make me like cartoons kind of. So like when cartoons start singing, I'm just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah,
like,
this
whatever.
is true. Little Mermaid was actually my first cassette tape I ever got as a kid.
It's one of my first. I think I wore that tape out. And
I totally wore that one out, and the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack, and the Aladdin soundtrack. I think my parents probably hated Disney secretly.
My parents probably hated Little Mermaid.
So for kids that weren't born, that were born after 2020,
Hey, if you don't know what a cassette tape is, you're out.
cassette tape was a little plastic thing that had a ribbon in it that was magnetized that you put music on. Often known probably by you at this point as putting a pencil in it to rewind it. You've seen the meme on there that kids back in the day won't know what this means. If you never knew what that means, there you go.
Or if you ever had to have your cassette tape ready in case your favorite song came on the radio.
I totally did that.
Record it.
With more than one of my favorite songs.
Used to-
But I got them.
Used to piss me off back in the day whenever that song would come on, and then like the
You
fucking
get the promo.
the DJ would come in. That was 9 years.
Fuck!
You
cut off the end of the
You just
song.
messed it up. But yeah, that's just look it up, Google it, cassette tape. It's there.
So this one is a Disney release. I wasn't sure if it was Pixar or if it was Disney, but this one's just Disney.
It's just Disney.
Just like Frozen and
Tangled.
Mm-hmm.
And the animation's pretty similar throughout those, which they've moved more towards a Pixar-esque animation, but it's good animation.
Yeah, so it's at this point in time, you're not going to see a Pixar movie or anything like this and be like, man, the animation is weird. No, it's all fucking gorgeous at this point.
The thing that really confuses me. So
we forgot Moana, and I don't want to forget Moana because it's a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Oh, it's also with music by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Exactly.
That guy is just on fucking fire right now. He's gonna M. Night Shyamalan one day. It's gonna happen, but right now he's on fire.
I think I've only seen like 2 things with him doing the music, which is Moana and this one. I've not seen any Hamilton. I've not listened to like any of the soundtracks, and I've not seen the one that he did on HBO Max, the Into the Streets. Is that what it was called?
We were just looking this up. You would probably recognize more. He did some Star Wars songs actually as well in both The Force Awakens and I think in all 3 of the sequel trilogies. And he's done a lot of other work. So I think if you were to look at his writing,
rather than like full musical.
So where he's not the full composer, but if you look at the full writing stuff of whether he contributed as a composer or a lyricist, there was one that he did all the lyrics for that we didn't realize he was the one doing the lyrics, and now I can't remember which one that was.
Was it Encanto?
No, he did both.
I think we knew that one.
Oh, well,
I knew that one at least.
We looked up some of his stuff on the way here, but I think the one that you said was like they were doing a redo of the Little Mermaid.
Oh
or something
yeah,
like
he's
that?
going to be doing the music for I think the live action Little Mermaid.
Speaking of Little Mermaid,
No, it's so. I mean, I've said it before. Like, don't remake anything. If I love it, leave it alone. I don't. It's good already. It's still watchable.
I don't know how you can redo that one and not come into problematic territory with the message of the Little Mermaid in today's society. So that's going to be trading a fine line, because we just don't do like, I met a random person and fell in love and I gave up everything in my world to be with them for one day.
But it's also the story of like on her 16th birthday was the day she decided she wanted to marry weird landman.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to be a human. I don't want to be a fish anymore. I want to be a human.
she wanted his dinglehopper.
No, that's for hair.
Oh,
Or for us land dwellers, it's a fork.
I think we know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I do apologize for him extensively.
I don't. But anyways, so we all sat and we all watched Encanto. I will agree with you that if you didn't know better, you would probably think it was a Pixar, because I think this is the first one. Now, I don't know if Moana did it, but like this is the one that I think was completely computer animation.
No, Tangled was first for Disney.
That's right, because we watched it the other day.
And once they did
because of the hair animation, they couldn't do the hair animation by hand.
And once they did Tangled and kind of I think saw like how well it did, they kind of went away from, because Princess and the Frog was the last animated princess movie. Like, so I think it was still probably done on computers, but still like cellish sort of animation, hand-drawn animation. They've kind of gone away from that, and now they're doing all the computer-generated stuff, which, I mean, I miss seeing stuff that's just drawn, because you don't get that a whole lot anymore.
Yeah, that's true. But like the thing that you said earlier, or Amber said earlier, one of y'all said earlier, was it was like, this is like, the animation is just fucking, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. It's like, it's hard to imagine that in 20 years that what we're watching right now is going to seem like straight trash. Or are we at the apex of the game at this point?
You're gonna get hit that uncanny valley at some point in time. They have to remain stylized, because if you try to get them to look realistic, something's not going to work. Like, they're going to smile and it's just not going to, like, the lips aren't going to fold right, or something.
I think it's how the face interacts with the eyes. So it's like, for me, if the eyes are flat but the mouth is constantly moving, and then if the smile doesn't reach the eyes, or if the eyes don't reflect like the emotion that's on the character's face, that's where it always loses me. But they're getting so much better about that with like the little dots that they put on the face, so they can like track every like little movement, every wrinkle. So, I mean, who knows? Like, I personally don't see how it could get better than it did with Encanto, because like that, it's so vibrant and colorful, and like there's just so much movement and motion. The songs are great. I'm probably already tipping my hand on my score at this point, but we might as well just go ahead and kind of dive into it.
Yeah, well, we want to give a little bit of our initial feelings before we start going into spoilers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's story from a Colombian family, and it's a story about family, and what it means to everyone, and how do you fit into your own family, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. I liked it.
So, for me, it was basically the family dynamic, like you said, but it's to me, it was more of a story of you don't have to have special powers to be special. And I kind of like that message, because with like most Disney flicks, you have like, there's the Ariel was a mermaid who went on land. There's always something that makes them special. But then the main character of this one, it seemed like she wasn't special, and like her power, so to speak, was
keeping the family together.
Yeah, she was the ties that bind everyone together. Then that was totally not spoilery, but we'll get more into that later. What was the movie to you?
I saw a lot about how it represents family and the positive and negative traditions and aspects of family and how they impact each other. Mm-hmm. That was really what I kind of took away from it a lot, but I can't discuss that more without spoilers.
So if you were to give a score between 0 and 10?
I would actually give it a 9, and really the only thing keeping it from giving it a 10 was I was not expecting to have the emotional gut punch at the end like it did. I normally expect that from my Pixar movies, which is why I have a one and done rule with most Pixar movies. Watch it once, it destroys me emotionally down to my core, and then I refuse to watch it again because I don't want to cry like that.
Is there one particular Pixar movie you won't watch?
Up, yeah.
Yeah.
Up is a beautiful movie. I loved it. It was great. And it utterly destroyed me to the point where I was like, I can't ever watch that again.
And the worst part about it is I really like the movie and I want to watch it with her again. Usually with Pixar movies, the gut punch comes at the end. But with Up, it's at the fucking beginning, so we can't watch the movie.
And at the end.
Yeah, and then it revisits it at
Yeah,
the end.
but
And
like...
it's just like
She
can't
was
go through it.
she
No.
was a blubbery mess at the beginning of the movie when we watched it in the theater. She was just like weeping the entire beginning of the movie, and then finally it's like everything leveled out and we got to the end and she was weeping at the end, but it was nowhere near as bad as it was in the beginning. She's like, that's such a beautiful story and he's alone now. I was like, geez. And ever since that movie, any Pixar flick that I watch, usually she doesn't want to watch them from Jump Street, but then like I'll watch them. She just happens to walk in at the end. The emotional gut punch comes. She's like, "Why the fuck did you do that?" And then it's my fault. So,
You know, that's just forever going to be the fault because of Jurassic Park, but we'll discuss that another time.
It's like the original movie?
no,
Jurassic Bark.
Bark.
Futurama.
Oh. Okay.
But that's
another story.
you
for
were
another
curious.
time.
You were curious, and it was a beautiful episode. And you
I was not curious. You put it on and told me to watch it.
Was it not a beautiful episode?
We had just lost our cat.
Okay. I guess I didn't consider that. But
It's like I watched Onward, and it was a story about brothers, and I'm like, I can't do this movie. But I watched it twice because it was so much great.
oh yeah.
Oh, it was great. But I warned Tim before that one
Yeah.
because he's in a similar boat as you with that regard. So.
Yeah.
But Nick, what would you rate it?
I'd give it like a 6.
6?
Yeah, it's above average. It's a good movie.
Okay. I give it a strong 8. Almost 9. I didn't really like, what was the girl that did the flowers?
Isabel?
Isabel.
I wasn't crazy about her song. I get the meaning and I get the depth of the song, but it wasn't as catchy as like some of the other ones. What was it? Pressure, Under Pressure?
Surface Pressure.
Surface Pressure was my favorite song in the whole thing.
Is that Louise?
That's Luisa's.
Yeah, and that song was just fucking straight fire. But like there were some of the songs that I wasn't crazy about, which didn't make it a perfect movie for me. But honestly, it's probably like right underneath The Lion King for me. Like The Lion King is my favorite Disney movie of all time. Then it was Aladdin. I really liked Encanto. Like that's one I feel like I can watch several times because there's just so much going on in the movie. So I'll say an 8.
Okay. I mean, so I think some of the songs they're good, but it's like, I think it's more of just a me thing. But like when it sounds like people are like reciting poetry, I just stop listening to them. And then there's some popular songs where like maybe the lyrics get a bit too lost in kind of the lyricism and kind of making it a song rather than, I guess, a clear, easily understood sort of thing. So some of the lyrics were kind of lost to me in the song. And then I'm like, wait, what did he say? It's sort of the point where I'm like, do I need to turn on the subtitles for the song so I can catch all of the meaning to it? I didn't, just because I don't watch movies with subtitles if it's in English or whatever. So I'm like, I don't want to feel like I have to watch it with subtitles just so I can understand everything being sung in the song. But you get that with like songs sometimes, like the did he just say before I kiss this guy or whatever it is? And it's not about like how it's just the enunciation of the lyrics in the songs. So I missed some of that with some of the songs and just kind of
it's I don't even want to say it was the accents. I think it was the it's some of the intentional rhythms of the song
it's your
that make that make it like Luisa's song. It's hard to fully understand everything, but hers is more like it's a song, but it's kind of almost like spoken word at times. but it's got a really strong kind of beat to it, which kind of drives it, so it makes it very catchy in that regard for me, which I understand, which is why he likes it.
Well, it's I think a lot of songs you get like in musicals. I mean, they're musical songs. They sound like musicals, and these ones sounded a bit more like pop songs, kind of put into a musical.
So I did hear that there's a lot of intentional mirroring of Colombian music for this, and I think perhaps that might be part of it too, is where the stylization of the actual music and songs is more familiar to someone who might be native to Colombia rather than what we would have here. And so that might just be like a cultural difference of how we hear songs. But
it just sounded a bit more poppy in the way that they enunciate the lyrics, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which just made it slightly hard to understand some of them, but for the most part I understood like what they're trying to get across.
Right. Well, I guess we are now edging into spoiler territory, so if you have not seen Encanto, please let the video keep running so we can get the full hit, but turn the volume off and turn the monitor off.
Or watch it and come back knowing like that it's a recommend. I mean, if you at this point in time, I think you've probably seen enough Disney movies to know if you like this style of Disney movie or not.
Just let it run. Just let it run. Just go ahead and hit the thumbs up now. Just saying that be your promise that you're coming back to watch it. But and then comment and be like, I'm totally coming back to watch it, and then share it so other people know you are pledged to come back and watch the video. So.
All right. Well, now that little advertisement is done.
Sorry.
So, from here on, we'll be talking in depth about the movie. So, if you've not seen Encanto for whatever reason, go watch it. And come on back when we start talking about it now-ish.
Yeah, anything you see past this, if you haven't seen it, it's your fault.
All right. So I guess why am I giving it a 6 instead of like higher marks? I don't think I liked the reason for their powers. Which is kind of like, Dad died, so my candle's magic now, and now everyone's got powers. I'm like, that's kind of...
I mean, that's a standard Disney trope that the power of love is what creates the magic, and that was the root cause of the power of love for family, and is what infused the candle with the magic.
Yeah, but only that mother loved her family.
Well, no, it wasn't her love. It was his love, his sacrifice that caused them to have the magic to be infused. It was the sacrifice that he gave for his family to protect them and also to protect the people. So then I believe that's the way I interpret it, is why the Madrigals became the protectors of the village, is because his sacrifice imbued them with the strength to continue to protect them during whatever particular conflict it was. I am unfortunately not very knowledgeable of Colombian history to know what if that was like a civil war kind of issue or just some other kind of terrible crimes going across their countryside at the time.
I find it interesting that y'all saw that way, because to me it was like he was a sheriff that came to this town, and then this shark attacks start, and then he's kind of like, okay, everyone needs to get out of the water, and he's trying to close the beach, but the mayor's like, no, you can't close the beach.
Wrong movie.
Yeah, it's Jaws.
What are we talking about?
Encanto?
Did you hit your head again?
No.
Nah, he's just silly.
No, to me it was they were moving to start a new life together.
Yes.
He
not on purpose.
Right. He had to stop the people who were like trying to run them down, so he gave his life. And then like that was kind of his love made the magic, but also at the same time it was kind of like that was his way of helping support the family from beyond the grave, kind of a thing. Like the love of family is what brought the magic forward. And because we're in spoiler talk, I might as well go ahead and say it now while I'm thinking about it. It was the fact that the love of the family that was so strong with Abuela, and then her kids protecting them, and then that she just kind of got lost in the whole fact that it wasn't the love that kept the power going, it was the powers they had that kept the power going. So she kind of lost sight of the family unit, especially when the main girl... Maribel McGlass's head, like when she didn't get her powers, and then she was like disappointed in her, trying to think, well, like you're fucking things up, which was
you're ruining the family.
Yeah, which was kind of squelching the whole.
That would be that negative toxicity of family that I was really picking up there. It's like I was not a fan of Abuela for about 95% of that movie.
I don't know that you're necessarily supposed to, but it's also, I think, relatable in that you have that kind of maternal or paternal figure, like at the figurehead.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're not doing what you could do for the family,
Well, it's
and
mother.
it's kind of disappointing.
It's mother knows best, but at the same time, she kind of like loses sight. So, we're gonna take a quick break for station identification, and so I can feed the cat, so she's not meowing the entire interview. So, we will pause in 3, 2, 1.
All right, cat fed.
2022, we rock your ears and we'll fuck your world up. And now, thank you.
Drop the F-bombs on a Disney movie.
Right?
Sorry.
I sure hope the target audience is old enough to understand what that word really means.
Well, I hope kids aren't watching this because, I mean, look at us.
All of our videos are not for kids.
No.
I make sure to specifically click that. So,
Yeah, but there's going to be one child at least who will always watch these.
yeah, well, that parent should be monitoring their intake of YouTube. So,
Please.
Oh, wait. Are you saying I'm the one who's supposed to be monitoring the intake of his YouTube?
parents.
It sounded like you said that parent.
That's probably what I said. But if you're a 6-year-old and you're watching this, you've got bad parents.
And Jackson, you should probably go to bed.
Seriously, we failed as parents if he's watching these videos. So,
Or, I mean, that's if he's watching these videos all on his own. That's good. I'd be impressed.
yeah, Jackson, listen to Daddy. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And give to the Patreon. I'm going to have to send you to college one day. So,
I don't think
anyways.
that's how that works. All right, so what were we talking about? The grandmother figure being kind of
Yeah.
the
Abuela.
abuela being kind of the relatable in that you've got that kind of
Yeah,
the figurehead of the family.
You can
Patriarch.
relate,
trying
if
to
you've
kind of
had
push you into
any parental or grandparent figure in your life that was always kind of pushing you, and not always in a positive way, but for yourself, but what they deemed was positive for the family, then it's very relatable. Like, I know I had a grandparent that was more toxic than Abuela. Mm-hmm. But I could relate to it because of that toxicity, because she's the one that created some very, very negative family habits, at least in our family. So there's a lot of surface pressure that I could personally relate to with the lyrics and how they were,
What was it she said? That you don't need to get your college degree. You need to
Oh, no. It wasn't that I didn't need to get my college degree. It was I was only going to college to get my MRS degree.
She makes more money than me. Thank God she went to college. But anyways, yeah, the Abuela character was definitely the problem of the flick.
and then just everyone kind of feeding into, like, Abuela wants this, so I mean we've got to keep being. You could feel the pressure everyone felt as kind of Abuela from on high, kind of like looking down to be like, we have to be the perfect family. So it's like, I have to be perfect.
And not only that, it's there's a lot of this really heartbreaking moments because everybody but Mirabelle, and even though Mirabelle also buys into the whole family that we need to live this way, we need to do it this way, the family just neglects Mirabelle. It's heartbreaking to watch after Antonio's ceremony that they have the family portrait and they don't even think that Mirabelle should have been included in that. Yeah. And it's no surprise that that's the point that the house that she starts seeing, that Mirabelle starts seeing the cracks in the house, is because she just got excluded from a moment that wouldn't have happened had it not been for her. If she hadn't walked with Antonio to get to the door, there would be no Antonio gift.
Yeah.
But then they excluded her because she's not special. And like I said, this is has so much to do with toxic family habits and traditions that might not seem toxic. They could be toxic like a dog whistle or wine,
Alfred,
though.
knock it off, baby. Sorry. We might have to pause again for a second so we can take her outside. But anyways, as you were saying.
Well,
toxic family.
And the dog completely ruined my train of
I know,
thought.
right? Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, the entire time you're like talking and she's like whining, I'm just like, please, Hallie, please.
She's a sweet girl, I promise.
She just wants to be out and be free. But there's so many cords.
Yeah.
There's so many cords.
For dogs to get tangled in.
Not only that, but the entire time we'd be talking, there'd be click, 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 because she just paces in circles.
Wants to be part of
And
everything.
she would bump the table constantly, so you would just have like what looks like we were in a constant earthquake.
Yeah. But she didn't tune in to hear us talk about the dog. So, anyways.
I guess speaking of Antonio's gifts, so like in anything in which someone can talk to animals, it's always like the animals are cool. It's kind of like if I have the gift to talk to humans and I can just walk up to people and talk to them. And that's not everyone I talk to is going to be cool. You should walk up to a bird and just be like, hey, bird, how's it going? He's like, leave me alone. Like, oh, this bird's a douche.
You want to know my favorite fun fact about the birds in Encanto?
What's that?
Do you know who the toucan was?
No, I don't remember the toucan talking really.
No, the toucan never actually spoke.
Oh, if it's an animal that didn't talk, it must be Alan Tudyk.
It was totally Alan Tudyk.
Bingo.
I was looking up stuff on the other cast and I was going through and it's like, you know, Hispanic actor, Alan Tudyk. Toucan. Makes sense.
Oh,
I went to Juilliard.
He was hey.
Yeah, he was in a Moana as the chicken.
He was hey. And then he was King Candy, which at least he had actual speaking lines in that. He was, what else was he in that we were, he was Duke of Wesselton. Entangled. Frozen. I'm sorry.
They've had him just do other things in which he does animal sounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, Alan Tudyk's in this movie? Oh, wait, never mind. Not really. Not really is he in this movie.
He's I'm going to lose Star Wars credit on this, but he was the robot in the Rogue One.
K2SO.
K2SO.
Well, you're not going to lose Star Wars cred because it's a new Star Wars movie. And the less you know about those.
And also, it's not part of... So it's like, do you lose Star Wars cred for knowing that it was a Star Wars movie, but not the name of the character when it wasn't part of the Skywalker saga? Because it's one of the offshoot movies that they have now paused, even though they were supposed to be putting them out after every saga movie. So
they put out Solo, it doesn't do so well. They put out other movies that don't do so well. I'm like, maybe we should
focus on the story.
Maybe we should put out good stuff.
Yeah.
Like Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Well, it's obvious when you have people who love a property. And I really think that Feige picked good people. Feige's Marvel.
Feige's Marvel.
Well,
Favreau.
So
Favreau does the.
But who picked Favreau? So it's like.
I am not sure who picked Favreau. I know that technically Kathleen Kennedy is the head of Star Wars at Disney, but there's a lot of contention that I don't want to get into because I don't follow it well enough to be able to speak articulately about it. However, I don't know that she's not the one who brought in Jon Favreau, as she is technically the head. The decision probably did cross her desk, so I can't disassociate her from that decision either.
It's not Pablo Hidalgo. Who's the other showrunner on Mandalorian?
So he's done some of the directing, and I can picture his name, but it's like...
But it's like the two of them, Jon Favreau and him, are kind of...
Yeah,
it's a David something or other.
Filoni?
Yeah, Dave Filoni. There you go.
Yeah, it's so another good thing if you liked The Mandalorian. If you have not seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon, not the live-action movie, that's also something else that David Filoni did that's fucking straight fire.
No, that one's good.
We're gonna have to review that one day.
I liked Korra too, but I also watched them back to back.
I liked Korra too.
He watched them back to back. I have not watched them. I promised I would watch them.
Well, you're gonna have to.
I said when Jack watches them, I'll watch them.
Yeah, when because Jackson is definitely gonna watch Avatar.
I felt Korra had 3, or I guess 4 kind of good books, but kind of put together that all followed kind of the same kind of longish story that kind of each season felt concise and can move on to the next one, and I kind of like that. Well, and it also kind of reminded me of our 1920s Eberron game, just in that it's a bit further in the future, but you still had it kind of molded by the fact that there was magic in the world, essentially.
Yeah, I think Filoni went on record to say that they did Avatar and then they kind of learned some of the pacing problems that they felt like it had. Whenever a season would end, the new season would start, and a substantial amount of time in some places has passed, but they had to get the story out there. Korra, I agree, had better flow, but I just didn't feel like there was that that unit flow.
The Airbender, or Last Airbender, had the 4 main characters, and I liked all of them. And then Korra had 4 main characters, and I liked 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, Sokka and Kiara were awesome, and of course I loved Aang, but the show for me got really good
No, once Toph shows up.
Yeah, once Toph shows up, like that's my favorite character in that show. But you're not here to talk about.
We don't talk about La Airbender.
No.
Well, I think the
segue.
Yeah, the
Pretty good.
the kind of bend towards that was the people who make it, who care about it, and you could tell the people who made this movie. It meant, it was like about their culture and stuff like that. It meant something to them.
And I will say again, if you want something that the people will love and will be successful, just give the property to someone who will fucking love it. Stop giving it to people who can be like, I can write you a badass script. Yeah. Just give it to people who give a shit about it, and you will have something of quality.
That stuff will come through on camera.
Yeah. I think they keep trying to find this weird place between like the mundanes who don't like the property and the people who love the property, and they try to shoot right for the middle. If you write it for the people who love it, the other people will come. So
yeah, I think there's definite merit in making a movie that a few people will love versus something that is trying to please the general audience for like niche movies, I suppose. If you're trying to make like a tentpole movie, then try to cast a wide net.
Yeah, and so
I don't know.
We're slowly but surely figuring that shit out. But I liked Encanto because, like I said, I thought the animation was top notch. Mm-hmm. I loved the expressions on their faces. Like it was the songs were great. Mm-hmm. It was so vibrant and colorful. It's just honestly, I think it's a modern day masterpiece by Disney. Like I just, it was one of those flicks that I put on for the kid one day, and like the second the movie came on, he was like transfixed and watching it. If I was to do an impression of his face when the movie came on, it was pretty much, and he would not stop looking at the TV. I had no expectations of this movie once you started watching it, but honestly, like it got to a point where like we had to take a break to feed him dinner, and we came back to it after that, and then he was kind of done with the movie at that point because he had a full belly and he just wanted to play. And I remember telling Amber, I was like, you just want to pause this and we can watch it after he goes to bed, because I really wanted to finish it. But like the house actually evened out a little bit and we were able to finish it. And she cried at the end of the movie, and it was not my fault that time because it is not a Pixar movie. It was not my fault. So, not my fault.
It's always important. Whose fault is it?
Not mine. But
don't worry, it will be again one day.
Yeah, whatever the next Pixar movie is, I'm sure it's already been
Isn't it the Red Panda? Or
the little girl who turns into a big panda.
It's Seeing Red, I think is the name of it. Oh, it's like
it.
it's like they're kind of like kitsune kind of people where they transform, but they transform into red pandas. Oh my god, it's adorable. And every time she gets angry.
Are you gonna watch it, Amber?
I kind of want to, because it's like it's got an angry child, so it's like I feel like I can relate to this story so much more now.
So when she gets pissy about it later, just remember she said she wants to watch it.
I've already said earlier, I'll give him once.
Just once.
Just once.
And just like next, like if you get to watch Toy Story 3, just cut it right before they're about to get melted, and just be like, "Oh, it's the end of the movie."
Spoiler.
That's shock. Come on.
That's too old. You don't have to worry about that. So going back to Encanto, there's a reason we were called the Inanities by a couple of people once upon a time.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why I call ourselves the Inanities.
This is true.
So you get sidetracked, and like, sure, the thing you're talking about is interesting, but you have this very interesting side point you want to get to about something that's totally unrelated.
But going back to Encanto, see, for me, there was just so much about it that I liked. I think I liked that it's not, for as much as you can say it's a children's movie because it's Disney, of course it's a children's movie, it's not really a children's movie. It's the themes and the story and the lyrics of so many of the songs and the message. It's something that I feel like many adults need in their life.
Yeah, it seems a bit more too, like the message seems a bit too mature for.
It's so
like
mature.
Young children, at least.
Like
maybe like teenagers might would get.
I have a friend who had to explain to her 8-year-old daughter what the meaning of surface pressure was, so she didn't misinterpret, because she caught her 8-year-old singing surface pressure, which she was fine with, but she's like, I don't want her taking and getting the wrong idea from it, because she said her 8-year-old was currently packing her younger brother's bag while singing it, and she's like, okay, this feels problematic, because we do put a lot of pressure typically on the eldest siblings or any sibling depending upon what their particular talent or skill set is. So like I said, there was a lot of relation to Louisa that I think a lot of people can do, whether it's in your family or your work life or you know.
Yeah, it's just that family member that always seems strong, but like
Yeah.
they can do anything to be like, well,
They just keep piling on, and
They
then
just
one day that person does break, and what do you do when that person breaks?
We all
And
get
then
there.
you saw that Louisa was the first of them to break. It's because they put the most burden on her.
because I kept thinking that she could take it.
And
Just
she's
keep
the strong
piling
one.
on.
And so there's, and I think there's a part of me that I just really found that really just wonderful to kind of see. I'm at a point in my life where I like seeing movies or stories that speak to me on that kind of level, because it's like we don't take care of ourselves. So here's a movie that's showing us why we need to take care of ourselves, that it's as important as doing what's best for your family is as a unit. It's also good to still take care of yourself, and that this was a movie where it showed you that, and it's a message that you can take and actually put on your own self if you need
Also,
to.
if you're not taking good care of yourself, how are you supposed to take good care of other people?
Exactly.
I think it's another big message of it is you have some people who try very, very hard within your family, and then you just kind of get overlooked because they don't feel like you're special. So like whatever gift you have sometimes can be taken for granted because, you know, people are kind of trapped in their own crap.
Or you're just bringing something to the family that they don't like Bruno or whatever. Where it's like, I'm not making these visions happen. I'm just seeing this stuff.
No.
So now I feel.
And he wasn't given a book on how to interpret them. He was just seeing them. And if you watch when he's interpreting the second time he tried to look at that one vision of Mirabelle, he was directing the vision, and if he made the wrong guess, the vision went along with his wrong guess. So where his visions, all the points that he saw in the vision with Mirabelle were in fact there, he misread it because he saw her hugging Isabel, which did happen, which was important because that is what caused both the healing between the sisters, but the crumbling of the foundation of the house. But you also had the moment where in that fraction of the second, while he's trying to figure out who, you could actually see that it almost looked like her hugging Abuela. You could see that in there, but he didn't see that, so he saw Isabel.
And he also missed the butterfly.
Yeah.
And she's the one that pointed it out, and he's like, "Yeah, go with that, follow that."
Yeah. So, but I mean, and I think that's important because, you know, if you're spiritual and you believe in that kind of stuff, you're not necessarily going to know that answer. You know, you're still reading signs. So even though he could see the future, he wasn't being given a clear vision. He was having to read it, and he did not have, I think, going back to the whole, you know, nurturing part or lack thereof in the family. Nobody really nurtured him to try to help guide him on how to read it. So he only ever really learned how to read them in a negative way.
I think, from what I remember anyways, that he gave positive visions too, which is people don't remember those.
Oh, you only ever remember the negative.
You only remember the negative. It's like I remember the time he told me it was something bad was going to happen at my wedding, not all the good times he told me that.
Well, then he even told her, it's like he wasn't even giving her a bad prophecy on her wedding day. He was just trying to be her silly younger brother to try to lighten her mood because he could tell she was nervous.
Yeah.
And
So
she just took it the wrong way.
She was sweaty. And she flipped the fuck out. But then again, I think that was just kind of her character because every single time you see her, like there's a dark cloud over her.
She was very
she's
moody.
emotional.
Yeah.
And again, though, it's just like, you know, they made a lot of Elsa jokes about Pepa, about how she needed to learn to let go of her emotions in order to be fulfilled, because she was constantly just on the brink. You know, you could tell she was just riddled with anxiety.
No, but yeah, there's messages all over the movie. Like it you can read it from so many different perspectives. But like, if I was to say I had a favorite character in the show, it was probably Louisa. Was that the strong one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Louisa is the strong one.
I dug her song, man. I thought she was fucking dope. And I remember we looked up the actress, the voice actress.
It's Jessica Darrow, I believe, and she's a nobody. It's Jessica or Jennifer.
It's not that she's a nobody. We just don't know your career.
No, she was cast as a nobody.
started.
She has like 8 acting credits to her name, nothing of which you would know of.
Well, girl, let me tell you, you could sing, and if that was your first thing, you fucking killed it. I don't know if you're watching it or not, but. Yeah,
of course she is.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she's liking and subscribe. Okay, I'll stop doing that. But yeah, she was. I really liked Louisa the best. I loved her song. I loved her character. Of course, the second, my favorite would be the girl with the glasses. I'm really bad with names. But
I will take the excuse of not remembering names because we were going to do this before New Year's, and it is now a week after New Year's. New Year's got in the way. And Christmas got in the way.
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff got in the way for us recording it. So it's been a little while since I've seen it. But I think it's had time to sink in with me. And
I've watched it like twice this week. So I can help with the names.
I watched it once and I was like, okay. And then I didn't really think about it much. I remember like when I was watching it, the music was catchy. But not since I've put it down has the music come back to me.
Oh no, the songs are living rent free in my head.
So the songs aren't super memorable to me. And also, I mean, the message is good, but I mean, it's not a unique message. I mean, I'm nearing 40 at this point in time. So when you're like, you watch a Disney movie like, family's important. Cool. Just like in Coco when the family was important, and just like in Frozen when we learned that family is important, and just like in Rapunzel or Tangled where we learned that family is important. So thank you. I got it. Thank you.
Nick, I have a message for you.
Is it about family?
It is.
Oh, sweet.
Kind of important. But yeah, no, I get it. It's I don't think we're going to do anything new at this point. We're not reinventing the wheel. It's just the way you tell the story.
Well, now I feel like I'm old and cynical just because when a nice little sweet story about how family's important, I'm like, I know family's important. Leave me alone.
Well, I would say this movie is definitely high on my suggested list. It's one I'll be watching probably quite often with Jack, if not just
and he
on
liked
my
it,
own.
so I think.
Well, he loved it. Like he was transfixed when we started this afternoon because I wanted to like listen to 1 or 2 of the songs so I could talk about them. But that Surface Pressure song, it's fucking fire. But anyways, so yeah, I would definitely say I suggest the movie.
Was there anything else? Anyone got any other little points or whatever they want to bring up?
Well, I do want to bring up one thing because it's kind of been bugging me. Mm-hmm. So they get these powers when they're 5. They established they were 5 when they opened those doors. Okay. And then they get a special magical room that's connected to their power. And at 5, a jungle playroom with all these animals where you can run and play and jump things. Sounds fantastic. At 25, I think I would be really tired of that. So do the rooms age with you in an appropriate way, or are you stuck with your 5-year-old vision of how perfect would your room be?
You're gonna walk in there at 30 and be like, my back hurts. Can my bed just be like right here, please? I don't want to climb a tree.
Animals, I know you want to play, but can we just play we're gonna lay here and not do anything?
It's like, come on, man, or we're gonna run around the tree and do all. I think I'm tired. I've worked all day. Can I just like lie down?
Leopard, can you go grab me a beer? And the rabbits, can y'all like reenact the scene from Jaws again for me? Since I can't have a TV in here because it's the fucking jungle.
That was like, that's super cool rule, because I don't know any 5-year-old that wouldn't think that that's an amazing concept for a room. And then I was like, would you want that? Even like by your teenage years, wouldn't you be like, okay, maybe depending upon how active and whatnot, but at some point...
Now you're going to bring a girl back there at like 18 to be like, all right, come on, we got to climb this tree and go up to the bed. It's like, come on now.
Well, what was the kid's name that had that room?
Antonio.
Like, maybe that's when he's around 18, it's kind of like, will Antonio come out for dinner? And it's like, no, he's been hanging in the room with the sheep. And he won't come out for some reason.
And then I had this other thought of, if all the rooms... are kind of like a mirror of their gift degree, because we've only saw 2 of the rooms. We saw Antonio's and we saw Isabel's.
And Bruno's. We saw Bruno's room.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, and the rooms. I'm very sorry.
Screw that room.
But okay, we got very few glimpses. It's like does Pepa's room? Is it? How do you make a weather themed room that's not just terrifying? Is it a wind tunnel at times? Is it like a torrential downpour? And to think that that's probably where all of her children were conceived, and she's had 3 children, and like her poor husband is like her room is obviously going to be connected to her mood.
Yeah, so I guess the husbands will move into their rooms too, huh?
Yeah, I would think so, because where else do they stay?
Yeah, where else would they stay?
That's a really good question. I never even thought about that, actually.
These are the things that go through my head, and why I tell you my brain never stops.
I would imagine with her room it was like a boat on the ocean.
That's not good.
No, that's terrifying.
People live in boathouses, people. Come on.
Yes, but when
People
your
live
mood,
in boathouses.
when your mood is the kind of mood that would create a hurricane on your wedding day because your brother made a bad joke.
Okay.
I don't know that I would want a room that was a boat on an ocean as my room, because that's terrifying.
So what do you think Abuela's room looked like? Was it just like a cranky old bitch bed?
You did see a glimpse of hers, actually, when the door would open, and it looks like a standard bedroom.
Yeah, it just looked like it was an overwatching room that kind of overlooked the courtyard.
I think you could go into her room, and I think there was probably a stairwell up to where the candle was kept. Yeah. That was the only thing special about her room, because technically Abuela did not have actual powers. Her powers were to safeguard the candle and safeguard the family.
Yeah. But her door glowed.
Yes, well, that's because she was the matriarch of the house.
She was the candle keeper.
Yeah, pretty much.
I found one of your inconsistencies, Disney. Call me. I can help you with that.
And one other thing is, like, one of the prettiest songs I actually thought was the I'm not gonna be able to pronounce it properly. I think it's like Dos Oruguetas. I don't know. I mispronounced that. I humbly apologize for that. I took Spanish a very long time ago, and I don't have the spelling in front of me to try and attempt to pronounce it correctly. But it's the song that plays when they're showing you the flashback of how the Abuela Alma met the Abuelo. And it's this very slow Spanish song. It's about 2 caterpillars, which is very symbolic of the fact that all the magic is represented through butterflies.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last one was with I know very few Spanish words. One of which being mariposa.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know mariposa. That means butterfly.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Taco.
That's an English word at this point in time.
Chilito.
Because we didn't come up with a new word for it. We just kind of borrowed it. Kind of like cafe. Cafe is not really a French word anymore. It's kind of an English word too.
If it's not a Spanish word, then why is it on Mexican menus?
I mean, it's one of those things. It's both. It's kind of it's a loan word, but Americans use it. Like samurai. Samurai is a Japanese word, but it's also an American word.
Fine.
Tsunami is a Japanese word, but it's an American word.
Fine.
Or it's been adopted into English.
Quesadilla.
You're doing it. Woo. Knocking them out of the park.
I mean...
Lo siento.
I don't know what that means.
Now, all my Spanish has been replaced with Japanese, which has then been lost to time.
I kind of understand that statement a little too well.
Lost to time?
On both cases,
yeah.
That my Spanish was replaced by Japanese and then lost to time. Yeah. Although I remember more of my Spanish than my Japanese still. And I took it a lot longer ago than my Japanese.
I remember Japanese more than Spanish.
The only language I know is, and I don't even know what it means, but I've heard it enough around me, with Ithagi, Ithagur, Ithagai, Ithagu. I think it's gibberish. I think girls speak it. And I've heard enough of it spoken around me. And
I've never spoken that a day in my life.
I still don't know what any of that means. So if I just said something offensive, my bad. But
I've never heard of that before.
I've never heard of that before. I've never spoken it.
Hung out with a lot of girls back in the day.
I think you're just showing that you're old.
Oh no, that should be apparent. The Reed Richards haircut, but
I don't think you can call it the Reed Richards anymore.
Yeah, Reed Richards was had color up the top.
Am I actually losing it up top now?
Your color is very gray.
Your color's gone.
Yeah, my toner's running out. Sorry. But...
You got color in the back, ironically. Yeah, I mean,
you could have a dark mullet.
It's like you're getting sprayed with sprayed with gray.
I don't know why I'm doubting that this YouTube series will ever take off. All the cool kids want to watch old fucking dudes talk about movies.
Yeah, a lot of old people watch YouTube nowadays, like me. And I watch people make fun of movies. Let's be fair.
You're the baby at the table.
Yeah, at nearly 40.
Yeah, I'm not quite 40 either.
So
I am not the youngest.
If you were 20 and younger watching this, thanks for giving it a chance. Go tell your parents, please.
Yes, well, old people that like movies and kind of live vicariously through entertainment.
That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But anyways, is there any other final thoughts that we wanted to put out about Encanto?
None for me, I think.
Yep, none for me. I think you shouldn't treat anyone in your family like shit because you don't think they're special. Yeah. Because everyone is special in their own way.
Remember, family is important.
It's important.
Family is important.
Yeah.
And don't talk about Bruno.
We don't. Oh, we talk about him now.
No, we don't talk about Bruno.
Hey, that dude was doing more for the family than anybody else. He's spackling the walls.
I'm not disagreeing that, but we don't talk about Bruno.
And also, remember, family is more than just the people you're born with.
This is very true.
Yeah. This guy right here is my family.
And this is my actual family. It's my wife.
No.
Now, come here. No. Come here. Feel the love. But, well, I think we've said all we can about Encanto. It's good. Go watch it. But you're not here. You're actually watching the movie. So good on you.
Yeah. Enjoy it.
And I don't know what we're going to do for the next episode, but I was thinking, hey, Nick.
No, that's the wrong series.
Hey, Nick, what's the next COVIDeo movie we should watch?
We'll figure that out. These ones we don't have, we kind of, it's like, hey, we'll get a text message, be like, hey, Nick, have you seen Encanto? We should talk about Encanto. We're like, yeah, right, let's do it.
What's coming out this weekend?
On streaming, I don't know.
I don't know what came out streaming wise. I know a streaming movie you guys could do that came out not that long ago.
The Matrix.
We could talk about The Matrix.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's only because
you're scared.
Yeah, well,
You're scared.
The Matrix first Matrix movie.
Well, let's not go into a diatribe. You could save that for your Matrix review. Why don't you do Matrix?
If you want to talk about The Matrix, I've seen The Matrix.
I'm really scared.
I said that we could have watched Home Sweet Home Alone, and you were like, I pass on that particular movie, if you please. And I'm like,
honey, watch The Matrix.
Okay. You don't have to watch it.
Thank you for the out, because I probably won't.
I made her watch the second movie, and she's like, yeah, that movie is trash. I was like, yeah, sorry. And then I made her watch the third movie, and I will never live that one down.
It's still not.
I'm not a Matrix fan.
Me neither. I like the first Matrix movie. The other two,
I didn't really like the first one.
Didn't really live with me.
I didn't really care much.
First movie was.
I thought it was overrated.
It's.
This is a point of contention with us.
Get out of my house!
I pay for it.
That's true. Never mind.
No,
you can stay.
We pay for it.
She pays for it.
All right,
Sugar Mama.
Thank you for watching this episode of COVIDeos. Join us next time with probably will be Hey, have you seen on Monday or whatever. But.
It's if you haven't figured it out by now, this is very kind of Flight of Fancy-esque.
It's loosey-goosey.
Fly by night.
I almost thought
other metaphors.
Yeah, I almost thought that we should call the channel No Polish, since there is we just kind of sit down and riff traffics it out kind of a thing.
Well, if we were to sit down and fully just watch a movie and just make fun of it, then it would be a reaction channel.
That's a good point. But I actually would like to start doing some reactions. Just like movies that we haven't seen. That's not... No? It seems to be what people like to see.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Lord knows, first time I saw, Endgame in the theater, that whole... Endgame in the theater where, everyone starts doing the thing.
See, I don't think you can do reactions like that in the theater. To do a good reaction video... You need to
have the camera pointed.
You need to have not only the camera pointed directly at you, but you also need to basically hold yourself apart from the experience of watching a lot of stuff in the theater so that you are sharing that experience with the camera.
Yeah, but I wanted to do one called The Great Faker, where it was like half the movies that we're doing are movies that I've seen, half the movies are movies that I haven't seen, and it's like would be up to you to find out if my reactions to them were genuine or fake, because everyone's doing reaction videos. How there's so many movies I've seen that you're not sure if I've seen them.
I'll know.
It's about if your reaction's fake or not. It's just saying you should know if your reaction's fake or not.
I've played werewolf with these guys. I've played.
Excuse me. Who called you out when we played Obscure?
You fucking cheated.
I did not cheat.
And Becky cheated.
I'm
calling you out, Becky. You were looking at me through your sweater.
I did not cheat. I went with gut instinct. I knew.
I was this close to beating them. This close to actually like beating them. And my wife and her best friend are like, I think Lance is the imposter. And they were fucking right. But like I was playing it perfectly. Like perfectly. I was asking stupid questions. Like I didn't know how to play the game.
Which is usually the case.
I made two correct guesses on the doors when I didn't know what the right door was, so I had the least amount of wrong move points. I should have been in the clear, but my wife is a cheating bitch.
I was not cheating. I just was like, it's Lance. And I knew it because I had suspected James. I was like, and then he guessed the right door with me at one point, and I was like, I feel like I can trust James now.
I guessed right doors with you, too.
No. I guessed the least amount of correct doors out of anybody.
And I guessed the most, so that should have put me above reproach. But no. Who do y'all think that...
Focus her.
Sorry.
Over here. We're nice and calm over here. Don't deal with board game nonsense.
I am so salty about that game.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
Over it.
Anyways, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks.
So, I'm Nick.
Lance.
And special guest.
Amber.
Oh, join us next time.
Tell your friends. Seriously. Like... Oh, you didn't stop the video. Good. No, tell your friends. Help share it. Like, help us get this launched. And I tell you what, we're actually going to start doing a thing. So, if you've noticed in the background that I've been changing, like I try to put things that are like relevant. So the movie had magic, so I put Merlin up and I put Willow up this week, and I just like that pig, so I just stuck it up there too. But anyways, what I think I'm gonna start doing is
it's not a magic pig.
For like Patreon,
Dead pig.
For like Patreon, it's a pig that's in hell. It's not dead. It's just in hell.
The pig's in hell. It probably died.
It's debatable if demons are alive or dead.
They're alive.
Yes. Anyways, so what I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to try to find a pop that's relevant to the show that we're talking about. So there's no Encanto pops right now, so I was going to see if I could find one to put behind us. And I think what we'll start doing is for like Patreon people or people who like and share and subscribe. If we can see that like you're sharing the stuff and liking the stuff, we'll start doing a raffle for like the pop that's in the background for that episode. We'll start like, doing some kind of random thing for like, so you might get a free pop out of it. So like help us kind of launch this. Eventually we're going to start up a Patreon to the 2 people who watch this that give us like 50 cents a piece for that $1. That's going to be great. But like, really kind of like help boost us. If we're funny, if you find this amusing, just give it a like. It doesn't cost you anything, and I swear to God, we're not going to start sending you junk mail. So just help launch us, because I fucking hate my job and I'd rather do this. So
who wouldn't rather do this?
That's true, but I'm just saying, like, we need something to help us stand apart. So I'll give booze. You're 13, you want booze? Hey, I'm your guy. Just like and subscribe.
That's a joke.
It's a joke.
No,
it's a joke.
No.
But you're not supposed to be watching this if you're a kid, so I'm lying to you. But anyways, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's all, folks.